Good afternoon and welcome to Raising the Bar. Raising the Bar is a series that tells the stories of real people who have had challenges in their lives and they've risen above those challenges and not let that stop them from embracing their potential. We can all benefit from constant and never-ending improvement, and we want to introduce you to these individuals so that they can inspire you to keep raising the bar in your lives. Today's guest is Bradley Erasmus. Bradley is the Managing Director of Poor Brad, Rich Brad Education Limited and Phoenix Wills Limited. He also has 10 different companies and he's got properties all around the world. And an interesting fact about Bradley that you may not all know about is that his left arm is entirely paralyzed from the shoulders right down to his fingertips. And many people have not even noticed that. And not only that, he's not let that stop him from playing sport, from being a chivalrous gentleman, opening bottles, opening the doors to people like myself, from driving and from doing any other activity in his life. So welcome, Bradley, to the series.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Could you tell us your story and a little bit about how did this happen to you? I hear it's at the age of 17.
Yeah, I had just finished high school, just matriculated, and I was going to the States as an American Field Service, on an American Field Service scholarship in 6 months' time. And I jumped on a friend of mine's motorbike, and he jumped on his brother's motorbike, and we went off to visit a pair of twins, female. And we were perhaps a little bit enthusiastic, driving too fast, and we had an accident, 5:30 in the afternoon. I broke my left leg, ruptured my spleen, and very nearly broke my neck. But I was very fit and very strong at that age, as we all are. And so the ultimate result was the paralysis, total paralysis of my left arm. Yeah.
Do you remember how it felt when you first learned that this was a permanent thing and it was paralyzed? What was happening to you at that point when you heard about it?
Embarrassing to say, but the first thought was, oh my God, no woman's ever going to like me. When you're 17 years old, as a male, all you have is your body. Your body's at its absolute prime. This is why the high school students are always on the beach with their shirts off, playing volleyball. That is you. That's your identity. And now suddenly you're told that a quarter of it, a quarter of your limbs are going to be unusable, and it's gut wrenching. And the first thing I went, oh my God, that's it. No girl's ever going to like me again. And that wasn't helped by the fact that my girlfriend at the time came in, took one look at me. Of course, I was very bruised and battered anyway. Took one look at me and ran out the room crying. So that didn't do self-esteem much good anyway.
Yeah, I can imagine. So how did you overcome that thought that no girl is ever going to look at me? Because you obviously did. I know you've been in different successful relationships after that. So how did you overcome it?
Well, friends came to see me, and I'd be as friendly as I could and as positive as I could, and when they left, I'd know they'd never come back again, but then they did, and that helped get my self-belief and my confidence back in.
So, did you ever go through any moments of self-pity and I'm not normal, and if so, how did you overcome those feelings to actually push yourself to the next level?
I think I was quite fortunate because the first couple of minutes in the hospital when I woke up after 5 days, I just thought, everything, my whole life was blown, in my opinion. So no girl's ever going to look at me again. My scholarship to America has gone by the wayside. I'm paralyzed. I'm becoming a nobody. And so I had minutes of self-pity, and I also raised my eyes to the heavens and thought, God, this is not cool. I didn't deserve this. My family don't deserve this because it's traumatic for them as well. I'm not happy about this. But then I looked around myself in the trauma ward at the Johannesburg General, and I think there were 6 or 8, maybe 6 of us in the trauma ward, and I was the healthiest of everyone. Wow. And they were all motorcycle accidents, head injuries, guys on heart-lung machines, guys who were completely paralyzed. The nurses had to turn them over physically, 2-3 times a day. People whose parents would come and stand by the bedside, stare at them for an hour a day, and disappear after visiting hours. And I thought, oh my God, I'm actually the healthiest person in this ward. So very quickly I stopped feeling sorry for myself when I realized just how bad it could be. So I still said to the big guy, I intellectualized it and said, I still want answers, think I deserve answers, but I no longer felt sorry for myself. I didn't like the fact that I was where I thought I was going to be, but I had to sort of either accept that or change that.
And that's very powerful. So in that moment where it hit you the most, you actually saw other people that were in a worse position, and could we say that you felt that gratitude that at least I'm better off than that?
Yeah. In America, no one felt sorry for me. In South Africa, people used to say, oh my God, Brad, I remember you used to do this, you used to do that. And I'd be like, yeah. And in the States, they went, so you're the dude with a weird accent and an arm in a sling. What's your story? No one felt sorry for me. And in the States, a couple of girls thought my accent was cute and stuck around, and, So slowly but surely, I built my confidence up in all respects, even from learning to swim again, or overcoming the fear of being in water, to roller coasters. Everything that I did was to build up my confidence in myself and my abilities again.
So going to America really made the difference, because people didn't feel sorry for you, and then that really helped you to boost it up yourself.
Yeah. I don't know how to explain it, but people are not looking for anything unusual in your usual appearance, put it that way. And so this was half of the process of learning, wow, people are not looking at me and seeing this by default.
It's probably more something you see very vividly than what anyone else sees, and that's a great inspiration for anybody who actually has that physical disability.
Yeah, you're far more aware of your own disability than other people are. Yeah. And you're going to hold yourself back more than other people are going to hold you back.
What would you say is the winning formula? What has motivated you or got you to reach the level where you've been able to do anything it is that you want to do?
I think by nature I'm a little bit of a show-off. Always was, perhaps always will be. So there's an element of that in it. I'm also trying to be normal, to be perceived as normal. I also, just on a personal note, hate being scared of anything, and because I've overcome so much now, I literally fear nothing. There's nothing that worries me. Walking down any street, jumping off wherever, nothing can hurt me. I've been hurt more than any individual, most individuals ever have. So I don't have fear anymore, and I make sure I'm overcoming that all the time. But it's just trying to be normal, trying to excel. I water ski, I play tennis. I was the most valuable player in the school in my tennis team. I play league squash. There's really very little that I can't do. I can't do judo anymore. I had to stop just before I got my black belt, which is a shame. So there's literally a handful of things I can't do.
And to what extent does the paralysis actually affect you on a daily basis?
I think it affects me hugely. I'm aware of it all the time. I'm aware of it every time I dress or undress. I'm aware of it every time I'm with somebody, when I'm having dinner with somebody, how I behave, how I move my arm around the table. So I'm always aware of it. It doesn't worry me. What I've come to realize is some people like me, some people don't. Some people are attracted to me, some people aren't. Some people will never be, some people are always. And it's like that not just with me, it's like that with everyone. So even the hottest guy out there, or the guy with the best body out there, is loved by some people and very attractive to some people, but other people don't find him attractive for whatever reason. Yeah. He's not a nice person, always too serious, always whatever. And so I've just relaxed on that front anymore, and I'm just, cum si, cum sa. If they like me, they do. If they don't, too bad. And I'm a little bit like that with life. I try not to make a big deal of my arm, but I am aware of it.
Yeah.
You sort of have to be aware of it just to practically get through your life.
Okay.
I'm reasonably fortunate. If I'm wearing a jacket, then I put my hand in my pocket, just because it's the most convenient place to keep my hand, right? Yeah. So I keep it in my pocket, and of course people just don't realize then, that I have a paralyzed arm. And people have known me for years and have not picked up on it, if all they've ever done is see me in a suit.
Yes, that's very true. I know many people that have had no idea that you have a paralyzed arm, and they've heard you public speak, they've seen you around, and they've had no idea. I see that you don't really identify yourself with it too much. It's not, hi, I'm Brad with a paralyzed left arm. Whereas there are some people that identify themselves with that and they become that. Like, I'm Sonia with a paralyzed arm and that's who I am. You've not let it become who you are, and therefore people don't relate to you as that either. So it makes a big difference that you don't relate to yourself, and then it's had a ripple effect as to other people. What would you say has been your biggest challenge with regards to the paralysis, and how have you overcome it?
I don't know that there was anything that's such a major challenge. There were so many little challenges. There were, I don't even remember, but I would think that the first time I ever took my shirt off in public at a swimming pool, on the beach, you know, people will look at you then. It's the first time they've seen you. One arm is behaving differently to the other because it's hanging down by the side, it's thinner than the other arm. You know, you see people look at you. My father used to be quite upset. He was quite protective when the accident first happened, and we were in situations I used to wear my arm in a sling, so it was very noticeable. And maybe it is a challenge, as you know, if you are sort of self-aware or a little bit vain or something. I think we all are to some extent, and you realize that you have something that you're perhaps not proud of. You know, I mean, I hear guys with bald heads, guys who are bald as me or as bald or more bald as me, talking about that all the time. It's something that worries them. And they've decided that it affects them and makes them look bad in the eyes of others. Whereas, you know, there's just as many girls who like guys with bald heads as girls who don't. It doesn't matter. But they really seem to make a big deal of it in their own minds. So I don't know what the major challenges were. I think there were so many of them just in trying to get back to living a normal life.
Okay. And once again, I see that just because you didn't relate to it as such a big deal, it's not been such a big deal in your life as it could have been. It's there. Would you say that you're still emotionally affected by it? Or is it just more something that you know you have to deal with when you're putting on your jacket and doing your daily chores, etc.?
So, you know, yes, I am aware of it, but I don't think I'm too emotionally involved in it now. Hey, that's the way it is. Some people are fat, some people are thin, some people have skin problems, some don't. We all have our little things that we are worried about ourselves, and to be honest, most people don't even notice them. You know, we notice them more ourselves. So I just get on with it and do what I have to do, and you know, that's it.
Yeah, that's very true. We all have something, and if we could just accept it and not let it really come in our way, it's not going to come in anybody else's way either.
Correct.
Yeah. Is there anything that you think it's taught you? About life, about people, or anything?
I think it's taught me that people are more accepting than I originally gave them credit for. Perhaps I wasn't very accepting, perhaps I was more judgmental of other people, and suddenly realized, wow, there's some people who judge me, but to be honest, most don't. And I haven't had problems in, you know, dating, in work areas, whatever other areas of sport, whatever other areas there are of your life. People don't really judge you on that. They're judging you as a person, not really judging you physically, to a large extent.
Okay. That's very useful to know. And finally, if there is someone else out there that's got a similar physical challenge to you, what advice would you give them, or what would you like to say to them?
Well, I would say, you know, if there's anything you can do about it, then it's best you concentrate on getting it right. If it's losing weight or putting on weight or, you know, whatever it is, fix it. You will only feel better about yourself once you've done that. And you don't have to fix it the whole way. As soon as you start seeing progress, your motivation just soars. And you're proud of yourself, and you're proud of what you've achieved. And so my situation would be fix what you can, and what you can't, too bad. It's not the end of the world. Don't make a big deal of it, because probably no one else is.
Great, thank you. Yeah, you're the only one who's making a big deal out of it. Nobody else really is. Yeah. So get on with it, really. Yeah, and you are a great testament to that. Yeah, too bad, and get on with it.
What I do with a shirt is I will put my left arm into the left sleeve first, and I'll do the cuff link up. So that creates some sort of resistance. And then my shirt will be behind me, and I'll take the sleeve, put it on my lap, take a cuff link and feed the cuff link through the holes. Then I will put my arm through the shirt and just push my hand through that until, so it looks like the cuff link's on. Well, here, this is how I take it off. This is quite a difficult watch because it's got a double clasp, so this is how I would do that. With my teeth, I've just opened the one clasp.
Wow.
Now I take this pin. There you go. Watch off.
Beautiful.
The only message I could say to parents is beware. Just like when you're a normal child growing up, you're trying to grow them up to a point where they can take care of themselves. And so you have to remember that even with someone who has a disability.
Okay.
Make them feel accepted, but make them understand one day they're on their own. And it's their job and your job to make it happen as easy as possible.
Yeah. And that, I think, is with any parenting as well. But you're like the gardener of the child. You're just there to facilitate them to grow and bloom into the person that they're meant to be.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you for those extra tips.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming on, Brad.
You're most welcome.
And for sharing so authentically with us.
Thank you.
So for everyone else out there, this is our first episode of Raising the Bar, and we've had Brad share very generously with us how he's overcome his challenge of having a paralyzed arm. Nobody has noticed it really because he's not made a big deal out of it. So let's take that as inspiration, because there's a lot of inspiration in that, so we can keep raising the bar in our lives.